by the power of Grayskull.
Can you tell this is my happy face? Here's my angry face. Here's my sad face.
When you're done, we'll start the review.
Happy face, sad face, angry face, confused face. Come on. You gotta admit, it's kind of funny.
Wake me up when you're done.
You gotta admit, it's kind of funny.
Guys, I'm just going to cut in here. This is Bronco Juggalo.
And Bill.
And today we are doing what could be construed as a comic book movie if we wanted to do that, but we're not really doing a comic book video here.
But it
this
could
is
be.
also like an 80s movie. It's also, honestly, one of my favorite movies.
It is a childhood treasure for both of us.
Even though it's not really that great of a film.
Oh, but it's one of those guilty pleasures.
Yep. For those of you that know us, and those of you that have picked up on our outerwear, you might realize that we were doing 1987's Masters of the Universe.
He-Man, and the Masters of the Universe. How'd I do?
I wish we would have gotten more of that in the movie.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes, I do too.
This was one of the Canon films, and if y'all remember Canon, you will know that we just did a Canon review.
Oh yes, Cobra.
Directed by Gary Goddard, starring Dolph Lundgren as He-Man, not Prince Adam, just He-Man. Starring Frank Langella in what he called his favorite role, and what I think is my favorite role he's ever done, as Skeletor.
Oh,
and
he's
this dude
good.
did a badass Skeletor.
Oh.
He didn't make him like, you know, in the show he was
Goofy.
kind of goofy.
Yeah.
He was evil as Skeletor, and it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. And we'll get to that here in a minute. Starring Billy Barty, one of the most famous of all Little People actors. You may have remembered him from a lot of other movies, including
Legend.
Willow, Legend, and many, many more. Starring Courtney Cox as Julie. Now, that's where my displeasure with this movie comes to, but overall, over the years, it is what it is, and I still love every second of this film.
I do too. Like I said, this is a guilty childhood pleasure because this film could have been so amazing.
Yeah.
But it's a good film, at least to us, right?
Yep, it was a box office bomb. It really was.
Yeah, it was.
And a lot of people were, because it wasn't like the cartoon. It was very different.
Yeah.
But also, some people, because of where it took place. And we're going to get into that here in a minute. So our storyline is that He-Man and his friends, the Masters of the Universe, have to take back Castle Grayskull and Eternia from Skeletor, who has finally prevailed in the war for Eternia.
And save the sorceress.
In an adventure that spans galaxies and leads all the way to planet Earth. As I said, a box office failure due to the production, the changes in it. They were trying to make this like the 80s Star Wars, even though we had 2 Star Wars films in the 80s. Also, of course, you know, changes to the characters, to the scripts, and the acting. You know, lack of a better word, the acting was not considered the greatest. Budget of $22 million, only brought in $17 million to the box office.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Major ouch.
Director Gary Goddard actually took inspiration for this film, not so much from the He-Man cartoon, or the He-Man comic books, or even the He-Man action figures, but from Jack Kirby's New Gods, the comic book. So that's another comic, you know, connection with this film.
Yeah, and the fact that with the toys, this was an action figure line before it became a television series. The toys all came with those little comic books.
Yeah, the original toys did, yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite stories about this movie is that Sylvester Stallone visited the set because him and, you know, Dolph Lundgren are friends. Plus, Stallone did a few Canon films. He did Over the Top. He did Cobra. And they're sitting there going through and they're showing the script to Stallone. He's like, "Wait a minute, you gave him lines?"
Lundgren.
If you remember in Rocky 4, he only had 2 lines.
I must break you.
If he dies, he dies. Alright guys, so we're going to get into pros and cons, and I'm going to start with cons because I think we both have less.
Yeah, we do have less cons in this one.
And all of my cons kind of roll into one big thing, really. But probably my biggest con for this movie is that most of the film takes place on Earth.
Yes, same here.
And we get these Earth characters that honestly we don't give a shit about.
No.
Even now, 30 years later, I don't give a shit about those characters.
This is supposed to be He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Exactly.
Not He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. And
the teenage girl.
And characters from Earth. We don't give a shit.
I really don't give a shit about those characters. I don't like the character that I like the most from Earth is Ludwig. Ludwig. Yeah, the cop.
Ludwig. I thought his name was Ludwig.
No, it was Ludwig.
Okay, Ludwig. Yeah, I agree. He was the only one that was like brought anything really to this.
Yeah, he was funny.
Yeah. I love it when he goes berserk.
Yeah. Nobody takes pot shots at Ludwig. I just don't like the fact that this takes place mostly on Earth.
Nope.
And, because it takes place on Earth, we only get a handful of characters, and some of them are new characters.
Yeah.
Some of which we like, some of which we don't, but they're new characters.
Yeah, and we don't get enough of Eternia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean it. Again, this is He-Man. We want Eternia, not Earth.
Well, more Castle Grayskull. We want Snake Mountain.
We didn't even get to see Snake Mountain.
Yeah, we didn't. They mentioned it.
Yeah.
We didn't get to see it.
Nope.
What do you got?
This was kind of a funny con because we were sitting there watching this film, and Evil Lynn is contacting Skeletor from this airship thing, saying, I have the key, and then she's going to meet up with him. Okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, they're walking. I asked
Instead
him,
of flying the airship, they're like, wait, why are they walking across?
Yeah, I asked him, why are they walking?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, you have a thing that can fly through the air. Why the fuck are you walking? You trying to get your steps in? That wasn't a thing back then. Come on, what the fuck?
Parts of this movie, the writing kind of was wonky at times. It definitely, they jumped around a bit, and there were some things that didn't quite make sense. For me, my next one is the costumes, and this actually, some of them are pros. Some costumes, I liked He-Man's costume. It looks good. I like Evil Lynn's costume. It looks just like the movie.
Except for the headdress of her headdress.
I like the headdress. I thought it was a good approximation.
It was all right.
I liked it. And then I love Skeletor's costumes, both of his costumes.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job on both of them. In fact, Frank Langella bulked up for the role. He put on some weight and lifted some iron to play Skeletor. And then they put him in this big old rope thing, and then the gold thing. He's like, wait, I did all this weightlifting for nothing?
Yep.
And they actually cut out the much longer sword fight at the end. They go into a whole big-ass fight at the end, and they cut out, and there's only about 2.5 minutes of it.
How long was it supposed to be?
Because of budget, they cut it out.
Do you know how long it was supposed to be?
I don't remember exactly, but it was pretty good. It was supposed to be pretty long. But yeah, back to the con part of this. The costumes that I think are cons. And not just the costume, the character designs, period. Teela, what's with this plain gray look? It just looked weird. Man-at-Arms I can kind of forgive because he still kind of looked like Man-at-Arms. Teela didn't even look like Teela. Like not any iteration of Teela I've ever seen.
No.
I get maybe they were trying to go less sex appeal. I don't know, but... it didn't look anything like Teela.
Yeah.
And then the sorceress is like this old crone.
Well, no, she gets older and older as Skeletor
Right, but she was
saps
still
her strength.
old at the end when she goes back to normal. She's still...
And older, yeah.
I didn't like that. I didn't like her look. I didn't like the look of her. Her costuming. I really wish they would have went a little more traditional on those costumes. The soldiers for Skeletor, they did kind of almost go into that Hordak territory.
They did, and I'm glad that they did, that they made them black armored, instead of gray, because, yeah, this is too much Hordak.
Yeah.
So I can kind of forgive that because they really did not make them Hordak looking ones.
Right.
So I can forgive the soldiers, and I thought that they looked kind of menacing too with that totally black armor. But they were robots.
Yeah, they did go with the robot thing because Mattel was like, wait a minute. After they read the script, they're like, He-Man can't kill people.
Yeah.
You can't have He-Man killing.
He's got a sword.
There's little kids watching this.
He's got a gun.
You know.
Did He-Man have a gun?
Yeah, he didn't need a gun in the cartoon.
No, he didn't.
Every once in a while, he used one, like for whatever reason.
But mostly it was that big ass sword.
Yeah, which the sword was even bigger in the movie. The sword was basically a two-handed sword in the movie.
Oh yeah. All right, my final con. This is my final con for this film. Is I wanted more of the original characters. Don't get me wrong. I love some of Skeletor's evil minions. I love some of the new ones. I wanted more. I wanted more of the old school ones. I wanted guys like Triclops and
I wanted Ram Man.
Oh God, he was my favorite growing up of the Masters. Ram Man was my favorite. Yes, definitely wanted Ram Man. And Stratos was my second favorite. No
probably
Stratos.
Because of budget, but
yeah, but that's what I wanted. I wanted more of the original Masters and Skeletor's Evil Warriors.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that. But like I say, it's a con that we didn't get those characters, but we got some really, really cool ones, especially with Skeletor's. But we'll get into that in pros.
And I get with the movie, they were trying to launch another new set of toys.
Yeah, and those
because
toys
the toy line was starting to lag at this point. It was finally starting to lag. The toys weren't great, but what I didn't like was the fact that they didn't have like any of the vehicles. And they had all this new stuff.
Yeah.
But it really did look like Star Wars ripoff stuff. Like a cheaper Star Wars.
Oh,
and I wish it had its own identity.
That's another one too. We had no Cringer, no Battle Cat,
yeah,
and no Panther,
no Orko,
no Orko. I guess you could kind of say that
Gwildor
kind of. You kind of say he kind of.
Not in my book.
But he's not a wizard. He's
Gwildor,
an inventor, a locksmith.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course you like Orko. Come on.
My final con, guys, is the whole Tila being a vegetarian thing.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's like, don't fucking shove your fucking bullshit in my movie. Especially when in the cartoon they all ate meat.
Yes.
Like big raw meat looking shit, like barbarian stuff. That's what He-Man was based on.
Yeah. In fact, here's a fun little fact, dude. They actually, I forget which one it was, but it was either He-Man or Conan. It was Conan. They did the Conan toys. They just took the He-Man toy. They took the toy of He-Man, and
no, it was.
Was it the exact opposite?
No, what happened is that the He-Man toy line was supposed to be a Conan toy line.
Oh.
But they thought, well, we can't do a toy line based on a character filled with blood and having sex and cursing for little kids. Of course,
drinking and pillaging.
They did later on in the 80s with other,
So it was the original Conan toy that they based
they were supposed to do toys around the Conan line. Well, they couldn't do it. They didn't know what to do, so they needed to do a line. What they did is they took a big gym figure and they put all this modeling clay on it and they bulked it up And they gave him a battle axe, and they had a helmet on him, and he looked real barbarian looking. And they called him He-Man. And then they had 2 other figures. One was called Bullet Head, and one was called Tank Head. And they decided to come up with their own line. But then finally, that was just the concept, and then some other people got hold of it, and they made the He-Man figures. And the Conan line never came to pass. At least not by that.
But it was the original concept, and then it turned into He-Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I remember seeing something
Watch on Netflix. Watch The Toys That Made Us.
Yeah, that's where I saw that.
Yeah.
That's a great show.
That, and also on Netflix is The Power of Grayskull, the documentary.
Ooh.
Covers the entire He-Man lifespan. It's badass.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Mm-hmm. Alright guys, it's time for pros. And the first pro I want to say is right off the bat, I like the music in this movie.
Yeah.
The
It was
music
good.
The music is one of the first things that kind of hits you. I really enjoy it because they got that theme song right as the movie opens. Well, if we're going to talk about the opening, of course, I want to talk about the narration. I like that narration in the beginning. I love it's a matte painting is what it is, but the painting of Castle Grayskull. I thought that
beautiful.
looked really awesome. I thought it was a really cool concept. I would love to have seen a toy of that Grayskull.
Yeah, that was a cool looking Grayskull.
It was. Now, some people were like, oh, that's not looking, but I thought it was cool.
Hey, they're trying to make it more...
Spacey.
Yeah. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or more gothic. I don't know.
No, they were trying to make it a little more spacey, a little less barbarian. Yes. But yeah, guys, that whole intro, I just love how everything molds right there between the music and the narration and the matte painting of Grayskull, and then the first image we see is He-Man standing on the ridge, holding his sword like this, in front of this big fucking Skeletor
hologram.
After Skeletor,
Or
of course,
projection.
is already taking control of Grayskull. And I just love the entire intro to this film. It's awesome. Sorry, I did like 4 pros right there. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. My first pro for this film, I love all of the scenes of Eternia. I love them all. I love all the outside scenes. I love Gwildor's shop.
I love the interior of Castle Grayskull. The set
yeah,
design.
everything. It's like everything on Eternia looks amazing.
Yep.
It looks so cool. And then we go to Earth.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay. This would be
And we
great if it was
we go to
American
Earth,
Graffiti.
We go to Earth and we get He-Man cruising around a pink Cadillac.
In American Graffiti.
Yeah.
Yes. But I love the Eternian scenes.
Yeah. That was my next thing, is I wanted to discuss the set designs of Castle Grayskull, the interior sets.
Oh.
I thought it looked great. I mean, you can see where a lot of the budget went for this movie was in those set designs. And I think that they did it justice to it. It was different, but it was really nice. And it looked really cool.
It was an epic throne room.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
And they had the pit, which in the cartoon is outside of Grayskull, the gorge. Yeah, the bottomless gorge.
Well, we never really got to see the total outside. I think it was actually on kind of a...
Well, when he fell, it was inside this. They were in the throne room when he fell.
Yeah, but I think the outside and we didn't get to see it, but maybe the outside was supposed to be, that kind of
maybe
island in the middle of nowhere.
Earlier, I covered how I didn't like certain character designs. Well, there's other character designs I absolutely love, and I kind of covered this a little bit already as well.
And this is a pro of mine as
I
well.
loved the way, like I said, I loved the look of He-Man. I loved the look of Skeletor. I loved the look of Beastman. Beastman looked really good.
But let's get into our new characters. You've got Blade.
I liked Blade. I know you didn't. I liked Blade.
Hey, I like the look of him, but kind of their fight scene, I thought, I didn't think he stood up to him.
The one that I didn't like that much was Karg.
Karg, he didn't look that great.
Yeah.
But Lassard, the lizard man.
What was his name, was it? Lassard, it was, fuck, I forgot his name.
Let's go with Lassard for now.
Yeah. I forgot his name. I'll
But-
put it in the thing below.
He kind of reminded me, like, maybe this is our merman character.
Mhm.
He more reminded me a little bit of the Predator.
I think he was supposed to be a Khan character, King Ka, or King Yes, like Khan. And
Oh yeah, with the helmet there, but it doesn't fit because Hiss and Skeletor didn't
yeah, but
get along.
there was the other, what was his name, Khan, the other snake guy.
Cobra Khan.
Cobra Khan, yeah. Guys, the last thing that I do want to say that I liked about this movie, though, is that I liked that they tried something new. I liked that they tried something
Okay.
new. I didn't like the fact they took it to Earth, but I liked that they tried to bring in some new characters. I liked that they went some different, a little bit of different designs on things. I liked that they tried a different story. I just wish it would have been pulled off a little bit better. But with that being said, as I've said before and a million times over, this has become one of my favorite films of all time throughout the years. I saw this film when I was 7 years old.
I
Okay,
can't
or
remember
6 or
how
7
old
years
I
old.
was.
It came out in 1987, I think it was 6. And I remember watching it, and it's still to this day the only movie that truly scared me. And I know that sounds weird, but that scene at the end where Skeletor pops up out of the fucking thing,
At the end of the credits.
at the end of the credits, scared the shit out of me as a little kid. I had nightmares. I woke up screaming, yelling, trying to find my family. They were gone. It's a whole long
They were at a
story, but-
friend's house.
Yeah, back in the 80s, you could do shit like that. Leave your kids alone, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always been a movie that's held a lot of love in my heart. And I'm going to get the German steelbook of it since they're never going to release an American one. Because the German steelbook is fucking sick.
I love this movie too. I grew up watching He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers.
Mhm.
Those are probably my 3 favorites. I love this film.
I watched
This is
Transformers
amazing.
movie last night.
Oh, that's an amazing movie too.
You got the touch.
You got the power. Yeah.
I love that shit.
I got something I want to show off here just because I am such a big fan of this. I actually got to meet Alan Oppenheimer, and he did, of course, the voice of Skeletor, and a lot of people don't know, also Man-at-Arms, and several other voices for G.I. Joe, Transformers.
Yeah.
This guy did so many voices, but this is the first full large comic. This is the first large comic book ever done by Marvel, and I got him to sign it for me, and also I got him to put a quote on here. Curse you, He-Man! I always loved it when Skeletor said that.
Yeah.
Curse you, He-Man! But this is just a cool thing that I have here, and I thought it was just awesome. I had to share it. This is awesome.
All my shit's at home, guys. Sorry. Anyways, this is Bronco Juggalo saying go and check out all the badass new shit over at the Teespring store. Got some cool Super Slash Brothers stuff on there. And until next time, we'll see y'all later. Peace.
And Bill saying, good night.